Hello everyone and welcome to our new moon ceremony. My name is Helen Hodgson and I lead transformational goddess retreats for women in and around Southern California. And I do have a wonderful retreat honoring the archetypal energy of Aphrodite under a Taurus moon next year. If you make a note of that, next May 2023, May 18th to the 21st in Ojai. It's a couple of hours north of Los Angeles for those of you who are not local. But yeah, so that retreat is coming up next year, so make a note of that and I'll of course remind you. And if you're on my newsletter list, you will be getting updates, and we have some wonderful guests joining us. Vanessa Poster, who is a contributing author of I don't have your book handy. Stories from the
Stories
Muses.
from the Muses, yes.
Yeah, okay, I remembered. And also a wonderful belly dancer, Kali Sundari, who will be dancing to us, honoring Aphrodite, and she'll do a little choreography as well. We had Kali last year, last Samhain, otherwise known as Halloween, where we honored the archetype of the witch and also Hecate. So it's funny because I'm thinking this time last year we were almost at the retreat, and it was one of my favorite retreats. Any Scorpios in the house? Yay! Scorpio Sun or Scorpio Moon or Scorpio Rising. Those are the three main aspects of your birth chart that you can honor. The Sun is how you identify, the Moon is your emotional archetypes, and the Rising, how you show up in the world. So either one of those, if you have either your Sun or your Moon or your rising sign in Scorpio, take note. And of course we can learn from every sign and every planet, right? We have all the aspects in our chart. So take note for those of you who want to look at your shadow, and if you want to look at transformation, the big message from Scorpio is transformation, unlocking the mysteries of death and the cycle of life and death. And we also have a partial solar eclipse, and we're also, Venus is also very omnipresent right now. Venus, goddess of archetype of love and beauty, also known as Aphrodite. So we're going to have a mystical, mysterious new moon in Scorpio with a partial solar eclipse. And what that means is it's going to really highlight what is going on within ourselves and in the collective. Why do we meet? Let's just remind ourselves why we meet at the new moon. The new moon is a time to sow seeds, set intentions. Farmers actually, I mean, this is a real fact. Farmers will plant seeds under the new moon because the earth holds, the soil holds more water at this time. So not only do we plant seeds for new intentions for the upcoming month, so is the cycle of nature. And also, I like to look at the new moon to honor your energy flow. We're living in a patriarchal society still, where It's always push, push, push. And the kind of women that I meet, the kind of women, my clients, the women that come on my retreats, they're looking for ways in which they can honor the cycles of the moon, cycles of the earth, the rhythms, in a way that you can honor your inner cycle of energy, so that you're not always push, push, push. The dark moon, which is the 2 or 3 days before the new moon, are times for introspection, quiet, and then at the new moon we sow seeds. And then the moon, a couple of weeks, will be full. That is the time to express yourselves, to be out in the world, fully illuminated like the full moon. And then it wanes again, and that is the time of the crone, the wise woman. So 3 phases: the maiden, Artemis, we look at archetypal energy of the goddess Artemis, the full moon, the prime, the mother, Selene, and then the waning Hecate. So as always, I love to start our ceremonies with a poem, and this one is by Flora Ware, and it's a new moon poem. When the moon is new, she invites us to question, what is it our soul truly needs? And looking within, heart wisdom rises up to intentionally plant the seeds. In the darkness, I know my light, eternally guiding the way. Dance to the rhythm that guides all life: birth, growth, death, decay. Under the black velvet blanket of stars, I am embraced by the dark. Nothing to fear as I follow the path, a light from my divine inner spark. How would you answer if someone did ask, are you afraid of the night? I hope, dear sister, you would answer no, for that is when dreams take flight. Again, that is by Flora Ware. So let's look at the archetype of Scorpio. It is often portrayed as the sign that is sexual, and that's pretty much it, I think. Anyway, those are the main things that I think most people think about, is over-sexualized, but it's just a small part of, of the Scorpio archetype. The deeper side of the archetype of Scorpio are the mysteries of birth, death, rebirth, and transformation. Scorpio energy asks us to shed old skins, dig deep, and release whatever is keeping us stuck in the same old patterns. So Scorpio is the sign of transformation. Digging deep, looking at the shadow. What innate wisdom is lurking in that shadow? What do we need to release? What do we need to transform? It's a water sign. It's not a fire sign. So if you think of the element of water, it's flowing, it's intuitive, it's feminine. It is constantly moving, right? So think of that too as we work through this archetype. And also, it's not only within ourselves, but it's in the collective energy that we look at the shadow. It's the uncomfortable stuff of our psyche. Fear, pain, rejection, but also the forgotten dreams and passions and longings. So all of those things that you maybe are holding back, that you're not supporting. So it's also a sign of empowerment, change. We think of Scorpios as having good crisis skills, self-mastery, financial partnerships, and avoiding power struggles, transforming, empowerment, change. Scorpios are the deep divers of the zodiac, and they have the capacity to go incredible depths below the surface of their emotions and swim in the deep waters of their own and other people's psyche. Very passionate, like I said, strongly sexual, known as the sex signs of the zodiac. Deeply emotional, and yet they're ruled by the planet Mars, which may contain fire in them. So that's what I was talking about. It's a water sign, but it's ruled by Mars, so it allows them to achieve and succeed their rebirth and transformation with that element of fire. And Scorpios are unique in the zodiac in that they have 3 symbols to illustrate their evolving potential nature. The lowest, or let's look at the chakra system here. The lowest vibrational part of Scorpio is self-protective, deeply shy, moody, brooding. Anybody know Scorpios like that? And they could have a sharp sting if attacked or hurt. That's the lowest element of Scorpio, that can hold grudges and resentments, jealousy, feel slighted easily by being oversensitive. So that's the lowest element of Scorpio. The second evolutionary symbol of Scorpio is the eagle. The eagle has learned to transform and rise above its own deep emotions and wounds, and soars to great heights to achieve higher wisdom and spiritual truths. The eagle has a piercing perception, and not much manages to escape its gaze. Deeply connected to both the higher spiritual mystery and the deep, dark underworld of human existence. The eagle element of a Scorpio is reached when one has surpassed and overcome their inner demons, or the shadow. The third evolutionary symbol is that of the phoenix, where one is almost drowned by the depths of their own emotional waters, and yet with a fierce will and intuitive perception that they're able to transcend their lower natures and be reborn into their higher self, one of deep compassion, love, and wisdom. Wow. Pretty amazing. Yeah, the scorpion. So the first level is the actual scorpion, which could have a sting to the tail, easily offended. Yeah. And also looking at the goddess archetype of Scorpio, Inanna, the goddess of the underworld that was seeking out her sister, and Persephone, the Greek goddess of the underworld. The myth is, or the patriarchal myth, I like to call it, because it is, she was snatched by Hades, pulled down to the underworld, and kept down there against her own will. But another side to the myth, is that she went voluntarily so that she could become queen of the underworld. Her mother Demeter ruled the upper world, and Persephone wanted to guide the spirits of the underworld. So she became queen of the underworld and came out and joined her mother in the summer months. So although Inanna and Persephone were quote-unquote taken against their own will, they became queen and ruler as a result, hence the transformation of this archetype. So Scorpio rules power, secrets, awareness of others' needs and motives, politics, psychology, charisma, transcendence, transformation, eliminating old baggage, change, restoration, forgiveness, in areas of crises, taking risks to gain power, compulsions, obsessions, intense interactions, living on the edge, self-mastery, strength, self-discipline, commitment, bonding, absorption, soulmates, deep emotional connections. And the shadow side could be the misuse of power, revenge, jealousy, harsh judgments, destructive urges, power struggles, abandonment, suspicion, and guilt. So definitely an interesting sign, right? It's often perplexing, ruled by the element of water. It feels very deeply. But unlike the other Pisces and Cancer, the other water signs, this sign is more comfortable keeping the emotions close to the vest rather than expressing them outwardly. Anybody relate to that? Again, it depends on if you have your rising or what your other moon signs are. Be interesting to do your chart if you know that time that you were born. You could actually see what you're rising and your I'm all about expressing emotions. Yes, me too. Always being comfortable with it. Not everybody is though, right? So let's think about this cycle of life and death and how we see it. We witness it in nature, but we're often uncomfortable with it, right? We know that life has to regenerate it. We know that there has to be death so that life can continue. If you look in nature, we're coming close to Samhain, otherwise known as Halloween, and that is all about honoring our ancestors, the cycle of life and death. At our retreat last year, we sat in circle and shared stories of our ancestors, and we built an ancestral altar. Some of us brought photographs of our ancestors and told stories. And we also honored Hecate, goddess of the crossroads. And if we look at all this time and think about our ancestors, fearing ghosts, if we look at masks and pumpkin carvings, that is all what our ancestors used to do. They would hang up masks to scare away or protect themselves from ghosts. I always find it fascinating how today we see these symbols that are around at Halloween, and it's always real to me anyway, really interesting to see where all this started and how it's been adapted. And cartoons, yeah. So, but also Halloween is also known as the Witches' New Year. and how the witches were women who were just storytellers, midwives, herbalists, and they were burnt at the stake, right? We know the stories. So we're at our last retreat, we also discussed and looked at who these women were and why the women were feared, but not the people that burnt the witches. So let's look at the three main qualities of Scorpio. Determined, they were an alchemist, they love change, and impassioned. So we're going to, during our meditation, we're going to be looking at transforming old beliefs so that you can let old beliefs that are not serving you die, and look at ways on how you can transform and be reborn in alignment with your inner wisdom so that you can really express your soul's purpose. I often think of the Scorpio archetype too. If you look at people that get into, if they become therapists or they become death doulas, or people that can transform death into expressing and giving light and meaning to this phase of life. I know Vanessa, who's on the call right now, all writing teachers, yes, that she transformed the death of her first husband into a landscape of writing so that she could work through that. She transformed her grief and has helped others do that. So what an alchemy. That's somebody who has alchemized all that fear and grief into helping herself first and then others. Right? It's really fascinating. So transforming old beliefs and then speaking your truth so that you can rise like the phoenix and feel rooted in your highest good. And then deep soul connections. I speak this myself, that I love to have deep connections with people. That really feeds my soul and attracts higher serving relationships. If anybody can relate, let me know in the chat. Yeah. So looking at the element of water, because Scorpio is a water sign, and it's also a fixed sign. Every sign is either cardinal, fixed. And if we look at the sign of where Scorpio is on the calendar, like it's in between the equinox and the solstice, so it's a fixed sign. And what we think about fixed signs is it's steadfast, steady. So think about that too as we work through this meditation. So if you're ready and comfortable to dive deep into this meditation, and then there'll be a writing prompt at the end. I'm going to light a candle for us. And this is to honor shedding our old beliefs and looking at ways we can transform and use this energy of Scorpio. And also, as we're close to Halloween / Samhain, which is next Monday, looking at that ancestral wisdom as well as we dive deep. So if you're ready, get yourself comfortable. Uncross your legs. Plant your feet firmly on the ground. And before you close your eyes, just look around your space. Just take it in. And then when you're ready, close your eyes. Pull back, letting the energy flow through your spine from your root chakra. Thinking of that Scorpio energy. Rooting down through your root chakra, stabilizing, sense of being home, rooted, grounded. Now bringing the energy up to your second chakra, your sexual chakra, feeling that energy come up from your root chakra. Then up into your solar plexus. How you show up in the world. Then up into your heart. Heart chakra, your fourth chakra. Feel that burning fire. The truth, love, compassion. And let the energy come up into your throat throat chakra. The truth you speak, the words you honor, words of love, compassion. Your truth, your inner truth. What do you want to say? What have you been hiding? What do you need to let go of? What lies deep in the shadow that you want to transform and use the energy, the burning energy of the phoenix within this zodiac. And up into your third eye, your intuition, deeply intuitive wisdom of Scorpio. Thinking of that eagle soaring above, a deep wisdom, a watery, intuitive, flowing wisdom. And then finally your crown chakra. In the celestial realms. Knowing that all of your chakras are open, alive, and spinning. Feeling that transformation, that watery, flowing, fiery transformation. on this new moon with the solar eclipse that's adding a little extra, I say little, metaphorically speaking, a little fiery energy under this new moon, making it more intense. What's going on right now for you? What can you bring to the table and transform? What fear can you release? What are you holding on to? Recognizing we can't have life without death, fertility without rot. Death need not be feared or viewed with horror. It's part of the cycle, a transformation, not an end. We cannot have life without death, fertility without rot. But death need not be feared or viewed with horror. It's part of the cycle, a transformation, not an end. And this new moon in Scorpio is inviting us, whispering us to move away from what is draining our body, our heart, our mind and soul. So are there any unhealthy obsessions or temptations right now that are taking their toll on your energy? Is there something that is pulling, tugging on maybe your heart that is taking its toll on your energy? What old beliefs are you willing to let die so that you can transform? What old beliefs are you willing to let go and die so that you can transform? Maybe it's having to know all the answers. Or knowing the outcome, or wanting to know the outcome. Are you open to trusting and letting be what is meant to be? Are you micromanaging a situation right now? Can you put trust in those who are more than capable? Are you clinging on to life out of some imbalance? Can you enjoy this part of life, knowing that the natural cycle of life and death is part of nature? you honoring your boundaries in your relationships? Are you willing to see the truth? Are you willing to speak the truth? Are you willing to be queen of your underworld? Deep mystery transformation. Turning over the stones that have been hidden. Turning over the stone that hasn't been uncovered to see what lies beneath. Our group intention. I hear and sense my spirit guides around me, offering clear and discernible wisdom to assist me on my path. My intention is to hear the voices of my guides more clearly and understand how to integrate their wisdom as I walk the road of life. I listen to the voices of my guides so I can integrate their wisdom as I walk the road of life. And working from the top chakra, crown chakra, thanking the guides, your higher self, the celestial realms, thanking them for their wisdom, your guides. Third eye chakra, thank you for your intuition. Thank you for speaking the truth. Your throat chakra. Thank you for honoring love and compassion. Heart chakra. Thank you for letting me shine. Solar plexus. Thank you for honoring my sensuality, my sexuality, where life begins. And finally, thank you for keeping me rooted. Your last chakra, your root chakra. So dissolving and transforming all that energy that culminated during our meditation, and taking 3 deep breaths before we come back into this space. Breathing in together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and holding it. 1, 2, 3, and then releasing on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And we'll do 2 more rounds, breathing in. Holding. exhaling. And breathing in. Holding. On exhale. And then slowly, as we come back to the room, open your eyes and look around your space. Again, drinking in all that you can see. Is there a softness, a calmness around? Noticing the wisdom within and without. And taking some time now to write freely without editing yourself, writing some answers to maybe things that came up during the meditation. We'll spend 3 to 5 minutes on each of the question. First one, what unhealthy obsessions or temptations are taking their toll on your energy? This could be worrying, expecting an outcome. What are they? These are things that are taking their toll on your energy. Could be keeping you awake at night or obsessing about them during the day. What are they? During this time under the Scorpio new moon, we're reminded it's time to let die, let go of old beliefs, habits, or roles, so that they can be transformed. So 3 to 5 minutes. And just wrap up that question so we can move on to the next one. What old beliefs are you willing to let die so that you can transform? What old beliefs are you willing to let die? What old beliefs are you willing to let die so that you can transform? Okay, Just wrapping up that second question so we can move on to the last one. What boundaries are you or not honoring in relationships? What boundaries are you or not honoring in relationships? Scorpio reminds us to think things through and come up with a plan, or connect with your feelings because they're important, and reminding us you can't hide from what needs to be done. Scorpio reminds us that we need to put in effort to solve issues or face reality. And under the solar eclipse, there's an increased tendency for change to happen suddenly or without warning. And it's true for ourselves individually and for a global scale. So it's also an invitation to be aware of your surroundings in order to minimize the risk of accidents or issues. That's particularly in relation to the solar eclipse. So the question again, I've forgotten it myself, is what boundaries, thanks, yeah, are you or not honoring in relationships in order for you to see the truth? So 3 minutes on that. we're just wrapping up that last question before we close. Looking forwards for this coming few days, the full moon in Taurus is November 8th, which is the opposite sign to Scorpio, and the next new moon is in Sagittarius, and that's on Wednesday, November 23rd. That will be our next time that we meet. So any words of wisdom that came through for you, just pop them in the chat. Things that you're going to be either aware of this new moon, any new seeds that you're going to plant, what are they? Any themes that came through for you? Yeah, over worrying. Yeah. Robs you of, it keeps you stuck, right? Worrying, it just keeps you stuck. It doesn't allow for any action, any productive action. Yeah, it's ego based. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just robbing you of today. So have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, and hope okay, just reading, let me just wrap up. Don't go away. So I will see you next month, Wednesday, November 23rd. Look out for emails from me in the meantime, and enjoy the fun, creative side of Halloween, and honoring the women who were burnt for their convictions.